guys, EndoPlasmite here, and we're back with the next episode of Pokemon LeafGreen. It has been a couple days. I think that should be an intentional basis at this point, though, for what I would like to do. I think what I would try to do is treat this where the episodes get recorded Monday through... well, uploaded Monday through Friday, and recorded probably anywhere from Sunday to Thursday, or Sunday through Friday, or however I want to do it. Pretty much keeping it so that way my Saturdays and Sundays are freed up. Also, I skipped over the dialogue by accident on this. You probably don't have any badges, do you? The guard won't let you through without them. By the way, did your Pokemon get any stronger? That's the last event that took place previously, was me going through and actually getting my team stronger. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be strong enough, but it's going to be worth a shot. Especially for the factor of a little bit more strategy-based stuff that we're doing this time instead. Main premise is to kind of whittle down the health and also regain my own health at the same time. At least until something bad like that happens. Okay. It's a good situation to happen. Just bear with me on the reason why I say that it's good. Because I will actually now bait and switch out. Now this might be a bad situation for sure, because I don't remember if Charmander already has Ember at this point. If it doesn't, I can just weaken Charmander down to the point where there's actually some benefit of the strategy of fighting as I'm fighting. That's also got a point to it too. Go ahead, use Growl. See what happens. I'm just gonna keep it going on this, just to keep things on the safe side on this, at least until it's to the point where I can't actually whittle down the health anymore. Well, whittle down the attack anymore, I mean. I think next one's the last one. Nope, not yet. One more. There we go. Now time to switch you out. Not a lot of damage. Strategy. And I know that pretty much means that Bulbasaur isn't going to get the full set of experience. But... oh, thanks. But at least, I played with a little bit more strategy than normal. And it's down. But yeah, the overall premise with this is I'll probably stick to it just to being Monday through Friday that I'll go through to upload these. That way at least gives me the break. I heard the Pokemon League is crawling with tough trainers. I have to figure out how to get past them. You should quit dawdling and get a move on. And there he goes. Progress has been very slow on the video front, as is nowadays, where word of mouth is the biggest killer. But, you know, I kind of figured this was going to be the approach with a brand new channel nowadays. I mean, again, how many people are going to be going online searching up Pokemon LeafGreen Let's Plays? Doesn't matter. One way or another, to some specific corner of the area of the world, someone will watch, someone will enjoy. Well, now I've had my coffee, and that's what I need to get going. What is that red box you have? Ah, so you're working on your Pokedex. Now let me give you a word of advice. Whenever you catch a Pokemon, the Pokedex automatically updates its data. You don't know how to catch a Pokemon? Sir, you do see that I have 5 Pokeballs, right? I suppose I'd better show you then. What are you gonna do to fight? Throw a rock? Old man used a Pokeball. Wonder if it's ever programmed to somehow end up failing to catch it at any point. There! Now tell me, that was educational, was it not? And here, take this too. The Teachy TV. If there's something you don't understand, watch that. It will teach you about the basics of being a Pokemon trainer. I'm actually doing an episode that's just a filler episode where literally I just watch through all those and speak. I don't know. We'll see. You know, I just realized also, do I actually have any Pokeballs? It's been a bit. 2. Nothing quite yet, actually. Not until I get to Viridian Forest. Ah, Viridian Forest. So, next major change up in terms of Pokemon appearances. Also with the random chance of there being... Well, let's start from the basics actually. So, we got Weedle. And we got a chance of there being a Kakuna. We got also Caterpie, and a chance of the Metapod. And then we also have Pikachu. I probably actually need to finish this and then, well, if I get close enough to actually doing so, try to catch this and then get some more Pokeballs. Gosh darn it. Yeah, that's the approach that I have to take this. All family-friendly based. So, speaking of family-friendly based, here's the fun approach situation that goes on. After doing some research on some stuff, it seems my best bet is to not select it as the option of child-friendly, because there runs a heavier risk by selecting something that is considered child-friendly when it's not child-friendly than there is for having something that's considered not child-friendly when really it is child-friendly. So, long story short, to make sure that YouTube doesn't do something and bites me in the butt for it, I'm gonna keep this PG-13, per se. The 13 mostly being consistent with video game violence. I mean, here I am, 30-year-old trying to watch what I say. I don't even have children. I don't know, I think it's just a general principle of things. The principle to the situation. I've got 2 different spaces. This space, which is a safe space, and the main channel, which is not a safe space. Which is kind of funny if you think about it. figured that the main channel would be considered safe, but it's not safe. I'm also thinking on the basis of potentially bringing on different people to tag along with the adventure and kind of discuss stuff with. But that's further down the road, per se. Speaking of what I was talking about earlier with Metapod, main benefit of what I'm going to do involving Metapod and Kakuna is literally just use it for fodder. Also, I'm going to take a similar approach to what I was doing before and stick to as close to 30 minutes as possible. I know technically the first episode did go over by a little bit, but I was kind of stuck in a position where I couldn't really walk away from it super fast. So it was either deal with it being a couple seconds past the 30 minutes or cut the episode short. There we go, Caterpie. Let's hope this doesn't faint it. And it faints it. Okay. Oh. Guess we're bringing in the whole roster of different Pokemon to encounter. Each one of the encounters has all been a different one. I wonder if specifically the next one that I'll find will end up being Pikachu. I forget the general logistics between some of the differences between Fire Red and Leaf Green. What I mean by logistics is certain Pokemon obviously appear only in each specific game. That part I'm familiar with. But the unfamiliarity is actually with the higher encounters versus lower encounters. Like, I don't remember if Caterpie is more common to find in Fire Red and Weedle in Leaf Green, if they have the same odds, and it's the evolutions that have a lesser chance in their respective games. That could have helped me out. It's okay. Hopefully this runs at the basis of actually catching this time. Fun little fact, actually, for anyone that has a weird note to do it. You see the image for the Pokeball on this? I'm wearing pajama pants that have that same Pokeball image all over it. Yes. Such as the wise investments that a 30-year-old makes. I was talking to my friend Chaos about this. For those who don't know Chaos, you haven't seen the original channel, or I should say main channel. But anyways, first rival trainer. Anyways, we were talking about different things that we spent large quantities of money on that we really shouldn't have spent large quantities of money on, but we did anyways. Because we're adults. How's the first strike I make a miss? If I remember correctly as well, for when I was doing the editing process for the first episode, there's only really 2 things that I had to do, when there should have been a 3rd thing that I did. The 2 things I had to do was cut the video in the beginning at the right spot and fade it out at the end. But there was a 3rd point in the editing process that I actually needed to remove, which got kept in by accident, only because I actually couldn't relocate the time that it happened. The part that I ended up cutting, well, needed to cut, but I didn't, was when I sniffed. Yes, you heard right. when I sniffed. Because my issue that I've got is I usually have a hard time breathing out of my nose. As such, there's usually some instances in multiple sets of recordings in the past, 10, 11, 12, 13 years, where this will happen. But you know, I gotta breathe. So sometimes what I try to do is I try to mute myself so that way it doesn't catch it. And I forgot to mute myself during that point. Maybe I'll have a chance to actually catch Weedle this time. Same strategy as before. Or in some cases, future editing stuff when I try to do, I might try to sniff and then I don't cut off at the right point, so it sounds kind of like this. I don't know if that did the whole effect that I was going for in the process. There's one thing that I don't like about my body. It's my sinuses. And I had a weird thought as well. For anyone that actually has made it through this far into the whole series. People might be assuming then that I wasted a bunch of time on my first episode and didn't progress as far as I really could have. One, I'm not trying to speedrun this game. I'm literally playing this for fun. Two, anyone that's seen the old Pokemon series growing up realizes how long it took Ash to actually get going on his adventure. So, if I'm handling this in the same approach as I said during episode 1, where I'm kind of treating this like you would see episodes on TV, then yeah, it's going to take me a bit to get from point A to point B. That's the point. And no one has specifically stated about the episodes probably should be longer. So until that point comes through, where it needs to be longer or shorter, it's going to stay as it is. Of course, I don't think I can make the episodes any shorter. If I make the episodes shorter based on YouTube algorithm, then pretty much the episode would have already been over by this point. On the approach of not editing. And if I was editing the footage, then episodes definitely would have gotten cut down a lot editing-wise. Am I making sense of what I'm trying to explain? What I'm trying to say is, take it for what it is. It's also the first episode in the entire series of what I'm doing, so have fun with it. Keep it nice and simple, you know? Trust me, with other things that I do plan to do later on with this channel, focusing with Pokemon-related content only, at least this is good enough as is. Because things could be much, much worse in terms of content. Nice. I don't think we're going to get to a point where Bulbasaur is going to evolve. I don't have enough health to do so with it. And if I'm running on 30-minute increments, I am running short on time already, because I'm actually 19 minutes into the recording. You know, it's kind of funny to think about. I wasn't kidding about the joke that I made about this being not my main channel, and me being a person that's done content in some form for 13 years, at least. First YouTube channel was with the YouTube channel by the username of Endo64. That YouTube channel now has been renamed Ancient Archives because there was a point where that content stopped indefinitely. I I think that's when things took off with in real life stuff. And then Endo64 returned with a new channel, which is then the point when I renamed the previous channel Ancient Archives. And then soon afterwards, Endo64 got named to EndoPlasmite. The nature of that was just so that way there wasn't any conflicting situations with the company Nintendo, since Endo64 was literally just Nintendo minus Nint. Creative, I know. Probably been people with just about the same level of creative names as well. But I digress. From what started off with me just keeping myself known as Endo, that carried over into the new username. So, regardless, Endo is still Endo. And while I could say that things have not been going as smoothly as someone that's been doing content for 13 years has been able to say, let's just frame it this way. The only reasons why I haven't gotten to a further point than this is I got the unlucky end of the straw with the situations. Bad relationship breakup resulting in me being heavily depressed, not uploading any content for about a month and a half. And the YouTube algorithm was like, goodbye. So any other success attempts of trying to do anything big at this point has kind of been shot. I still have some good stuff out there though, at least, depending on people's definitions of good. If they define good as YouTube videos that have 1 million views or more, there is only one video that exists. If you're talking about content that I actually like, even though it doesn't have a lot of views, that's a different story, because there is a lot of those. There's a lot of whole series also that haven't gotten as much attention as they probably should have, but they're still good content. And you know what the funny thing is? The videos are still getting views. As small as it is, there's still people viewing some of the content. So, in some way, shape, or form, there is someone that's watching. That's the full set of enjoyment that happens then with me continuing to want to do some stuff like this. At least the situation going on for this is, at least, this is all being spearheaded in one location with the type of content. Because that's the one thing that at least has been a noticeable trend, I'd say, with the channel. Anything Pokemon content-wise, it does not seem to do as well as it probably should. I don't know if it's from the case of me not being a main individual that's playing a Pokemon game, or it's because I have a mix of other content stuff and then I have a dump of some Pokemon-based stuff. So, brings to the other purpose of things that probably will eventually happen going forward, and then actually relates a little bit to something that may happen to replace the Saturdays and Sundays if I get down to it. I won't make any promises on that though. I need to first get through the point of where I'm getting through first, which is doing as I'm doing now. If I overdo things, calling the shots, running everything solo like I am, then I'm gonna screw myself over. I really don't like it when the game does that. I don't know why the Epilogue chooses to do that. But again, that's why you save frequently. So if something gets messed up like that, I can easily pause the recording and get right back into the game in some fashion. At the rate that we're going on this, I may actually have a slight chance to actually get myself to almost evolve Bulbasaur into Ivysaur. It'd be kind of funny if it was. That wasn't the main angle of what I was shooting for this episode, though. Also, as a fair note, as you kind of figured from the fight against Blue, until I actually get my main team Pokemon, then all the other side Pokemon right now are literally going to be side Pokemon. Unless we go through the approach of going to actually train Pokemon. So, you know, I say that. This is why I'm still bouncing around the idea of what I want to do. Because here's the thing. I need to get the Pokedex to the point where I get the experience share. And to get that, I need 50 Pokemon collected on the Pokedex as obtained. I could go around and catch 50 Pokemon, but it makes more sense in some cases just to level up. Decisions. Don't worry, I'm not going to go through the full approach of trying to fight Brock right now. I could fight Brock and dominate, make it super quick. I think what I might end up doing for the last little bit, though, is trying to go through our approach of potentially getting Pokemon to evolve. Meaning I might actually have to go back to go forwards. So that might actually be what ends up happening during my next episode, where I'm just trying to take a little bit of time and level up some of the Pokemon so that way it evolves. This is a perfect example of how to do that. The factor of, unfortunately, just spamming the same move over and over on a Pokemon that can't fight back. You know, as if I had a Magikarp. Or, not if I had a Magikarp, if I was fighting a Magikarp. Could do a whole bait and switch situation. How could I miss? Literally, it's just a single Chrysalis just sitting there doing nothing. Just making itself harder. I did say I was going to cut out the bad words, but I wasn't going to cut out some of the vulgarity. One more fight for the road. Let's see how bad this goes. Running short on time for how well that goes. You know, the first thing I was expecting to have happen. Do I benefit from baiting and switching? Brock's fight. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Okay, so I think I get a little bit of a pattern that's going to happen at this point with it. So it is going to go a little bit past the 30-minute mark. Once again by seconds. That's okay. going to be that nitpicky with it. So, next time around, I think what I'm going to try to do is try to get Caterpie at least evolved up all the way to potentially Butterfree, which is going to be a little bit tedious. Or might just go for the whole Brock fight and just try to progress forward so that way I can at least get to the point of having an ally Pokemon with me finally. We'll see where that goes. Thank you guys for watching with this episode, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.